part.
Brain
Okay.
canal. Okay. This is the front part. The cerebellum is always in the back. So this is the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is separated from the parietal lobe through the central sulcus. Here's the precentral gyrus, the postcentral gyrus, parietal lobe, occipital lobe, temporal lobe of the cerebrum. There's an insula. We talked about it inside, but you can't see it on these things. Only on a diagram. Google it. This is the cerebellum. We break it open. This is the right side. Corpus callosum, lateral ventricle, thalamus around the eye, hypothalamus, midbrain, pons, medulla oblongata, spinal cord, cerebellum, thalamus or third ventricle, cerebral aqueduct, fourth ventricle, and then the central canal starting here, but they don't really show it very well. Okay, this is a vertebra. The pointy part is on the posterior. This is the vertebra. The pointy part is on the posterior. So this is posterior, this is anterior. This is the spinal cord. White matter on the outside, gray matter on the inside. The pia mater is here. See how it's going right next to the brainstem. Then this is the subarachnoid space. This one right here is the arachnoid matter. This is the dura mater. This is another section of the dura mater, but you don't need to know it. I won't ask you. This line right here is the subdural space. And this, where there's fat or adipose tissue, is the epidural space. There's more involved, but you don't need to know all the terms. And these are your arachnoid villi, where CSF goes back into the blood. So again, you have pia mater, subarachnoid space, arachnoid matter, subdural space, dura mater, epidural space with adipose and arachnoid villi. I'm going to add on a few more things that the Tuesday class didn't go over, but you will go over it next week. In the spinal cord, this is the central canal. This is the gray commissure. In the gray matter, you have horns. Anterior horn, lateral horn, posterior horn. In the white matter, you have funiculi. Anterior funiculus, lateral funiculus, and posterior funiculus. These are spinal nerves, and it goes into right here, okay, and it goes into this big one here. Because this is the posterior with the pointy part, this is posterior. This is known as the posterior median sulcus, and this is the anterior median fissure. It's a fissure, it's a crack, where this one is not a crack. Okay, so this is sulcus, this is fissure. These are ventral or anterior nerves and neurons, and this is dorsal or posterior. So this is the dorsal root, because it came from the back, and this is called the dorsal root ganglion. It's a big thing. It's where you have cell bodies of neurons. This is the ventral root because it's coming from the front.